Phantom Sounds Production. What up, sound?
If y'all are in the show, go ahead and hit that plus sign, y'all. But right now, I want to see those juice boxes in the comments. Let's see those juice boxes in the comments, y'all. Hey, if you're in the show, hit that plus sign. Let's see those juice boxes in the comments, y'all. Hey. Let's see those juice boxes in the comments, y'all. Aggie, behave. Let's see those juice boxes, y'all. Best in show #1 gifter gets a free graphic, y'all. So hit that gift button, y'all. Closer to that 15 milli. Hey. Hey, let's see those juice boxes, y'all. Hello, y'all, and welcome to the Red Room Talk. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Red Room Talk is a show about love, intimacy, interpersonal relationships, including self. We are here to have candid discussions and break down stigmas to show that in the end, no matter who you are and where you are from, we all have commonalities when it comes to matters of the mind and heart. Last episode, if you missed us, that is okay, because you can find us on YouTube by following that link in my profile to my Instagram. Last episode, we talked about love, but this week we are going to talk about breaking down the stigma surrounding men's mental health. It has always been a hush-hush subject to discuss issues surrounding men's mental health, but tonight we're going to open up and hopefully leave with a better understanding of men. Tonight in the Red Room, we have an all-star cast. We have G-Way. We have Top Badge ATL in the house. We have Mr. Everything, and last but not least, Baldy. Let's find out the inside take from the male perspective on mental health. But first, before I let you in the box, all I ask is that you keep your mind open and your language clean. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all in the box and introduce yourselves and let us know about what you guys got going on. Go ahead and hit that box, ATL.
You know the vibes. It's the Red Room Talk. Let's get it, y'all.
Hey.
Hey.
Salute to the room.
Salute to the fellas.
Hi, y'all. Normally, I would say we're polite and let women go first, but tonight is all men, so no holds bar. Whoever want to catch it can throw it.
Whoa.
Hey, look, that's not what he said. Okay. I mean, unless never mind.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
just skip over that one. Okay.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
PG-13. Like,
Okay, hold up. I'm sorry. I'm
there's
sorry. I
no
didn't mean
cussing
that.
on here, right?
Hold on.
Message.
Let me get my teacher skills on. Okay. Whoever would like to go first could go first, and please introduce yourself. Tell us what you have going on and what shows you have going on, or any shows, any events. So let me know what you got going on. Go ahead, Mr. Everything.
Oh,
He was looking like I'm looking like.
He's like, oh shit. Who go? Oh,
hey, we out here. Hey, yeah, that escalated pretty quick. That first comment you made, but yeah. So I go by Mr. Everything. Been on the app now for a little while, probably close to about 4 months. Um, don't really have any shows going at the time and moment. So right now, I stream daily, probably
Hmm?
Yeah, he froze. He
Oh, he
froze.
froze.
that's about it.
Unless he doing a mannequin challenge.
That's really about it. That's all I have going on right now. Nothing
I
major.
say he got us with that one.
I
Yeah.
was like, he's looking really hard at me.
He's
Repeat yourself.
like he a pro.
Y'all got
Really
me.
a pro at
Am I
this
here?
situation. Yeah, you here, you
Yeah,
here.
You
now
here now?
you was looking real hard, real hard.
Yeah, you
Okay.
froze.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
I thought you had saw Lisa Ray in her prime the way you were looking just then, my boy.
I'm telling you. A little bit of Drew right
Yeah.
there, my brother. A
But
little bit of Drew.
yeah, nah, I don't have anything coming up that's crazy, anything hot coming up right now. Just supporting people, moving around the app, networking, and politics.
Well,
All
of
right.
course y'all know me. Go ahead, Baldy. Go ahead. We both looked at each other the same way, like you. Go ahead.
All right, I go next. First, I'd like to say salute to the room, salute to everybody here. Of course, Baldy. I really don't have no show. I'm just a regular screamer. I'm a screamer in the gifting. I usually go live in the morning. During the work week and on the weekend, I'm on all night. So if y'all looking to, catch me live, those are the time to catch me. That's pretty much it.
It's my turn.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
Okay.
You trying to throw it?
Shit.
No, that was a joke.
I just
Ding.
want to bite a collarbone or something like that. That's about it. But anyway, hey man, y'all already know, man. I'm ATL Live, man. A king of content on tag. 2 years voted back to back. 2 award shows every year we voting. But appreciate everybody and all the love, man. I host what used to be Rip the Wrong Way, well actually the #1 show on tag. Again voted. Shout out to y'all people. Uh, Gina just beat me, by the way, on one of the award shows. But I won this year though. I got him. But nah, Rick the Wrong Way, Club ATS, a new thing, man. And then Escape That Room, and I'm involved in probably about like 7 other shows, man. Listen, you can catch me all over the place, man. It's always love, it's always good vibes, always good vibrations, man. If I can heighten your frequency, then that's the whole goal of my job when I get on tag. So
For sure, for sure. And those of y'all that don't know me, I'm your co-host, G Will No Way. You can catch me here every Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also catch me on the G Code on Saturdays as well with my dogs. I got a lot of shows. Your best bet is to follow me on IG. I have a whole lot of shows. Oh, the return of Hood Feud is coming. Not this Monday, but the following Monday. We will also be kicking off Hood Jeopardy as well. So if you feel like you hood, you ratchet, you got a little knowledge of the ghetto, holla at me. Jump in that inbox. Yeah, the Steve Harvey of tag.
Well, I am your host, Jen and Juice. This is the Red Room Talk. You can find me here every Saturday. You got to say it like that or don't count. Every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also stream late nights and early mornings. We got some trivia nights on Tuesday. We're coming with some comedy nights on Thursday. We got a new show coming up here soon, but that's Hush Hush. So just keep watch out, y'all. Always late nights, early mornings. Y'all know I'm never off this thing. You can catch me when you go to sleep and you can catch me when you wake up. If you know, you know. But tonight we were talking about men's mental health. It is largely one of the most stigmatized subjects because men are always looked at as the strong ones. Big dragon, big dragon, big dragon.
Wow.
Okay, so men are always looked at as the strong ones. When in all actuality, we are all equal when it comes to emotions, and we all should be able to talk about things without feeling as if being a man makes you less of inclined to be able to talk about things. So my very first question is going to be, what is the hardest part about being a man? And do you think it's harder to be a man or a woman in America, and why?
Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? No matter if as a man, nobody cares what you're going through. They just feel like you got to figure it out and you should push through it. There's no compassion or anything for a man. You know, men are naturally warriors and naturally providers when they can't provide, as opposed to it used to be a time that culture actually held them up. As far as the women actually held the man up and held them together. The new culture, the right now culture, for sure, believes in breaking down the man and continually tearing them down. You know what I'm saying? And it's this new stigma that every man is rich and every man sell dope or every man scam and every man got a successful business when in actuality that's not the truth. So I think that's the hardest part about being a man is that most people forget that men fall 3 to 4 times before a woman will ever fall one time. That's why we need more than the average because it's hard to be a man. You know what I'm saying? To hold it all together and still keep pushing.
Thanks.
How about you, Mr. Everything?
Yeah, we go from left to right. So, yeah, I can agree with ATL on that one. I think going a little deeper with it, I think we as men, um, there's just a lot of pressure put on our shoulders to provide, protect, to be most times to be the breadwinner. And with men, a lot of times, as he said, we don't feel like we got people that actually care, that's willing to listen. So when a man does open up, know, we're not being taken seriously. So when those things happen, we're trying to be vulnerable and open, and we don't feel like we're being heard. It's just tough for us to continue being that open person. So we carry a lot of those unsaid things, those unsaid thoughts, and it becomes burdensome. So I think that's what makes men different. Women are more apt to talk. Men, we kind of close up, carry the weight on our shoulders, and it's tough.
So I mean, I guess kind of to pick it back on what everybody's saying, it's something that a lot of people really don't really care about, and it's not really talked about enough. And a lot of people really don't see the weight that men carry on their shoulders no more. Especially when you look at social media, it's always what a man should do for a woman. You barely ever see, things like what a woman should do for a man or what, you know, people should do for a man. Like no one actually sees like what's behind, what we do. Like we shouldn't have to go like drive home, like on the way home from work, drive home and take a scenic route, just make sure you wind down before you get home and stuff. Like it's just little things that we do to try to find our peace. But
I feel you. I feel you. I can piggyback on the rest of what y'all say. Like, yeah, to me, the hardest part of being a man is the fact that we're not allowed to express ourselves like women. A lot of people these day and age they look down on us. A man that's vocal or emotional or in touch with his feelings. He get looked at as a weak male, or somebody with no balls, as I like to say. In a PG rated way. But yeah, it's tough for men because all these other guys up here say, because they know as well as I know, the pressures. We gotta be the provider. We gotta make some shake, especially if you got kids. Like you can't cry in front of the kids. Like you never know what's going on with a man because at the end of the day, we gotta hold our emotions in, and we gotta provide and stay strong for your household, for your kids, or whatever that may be, or your woman.
For sure. Obviously I'm a female. But I grew up with three brothers, and one thing that I could say is I have like kind of like the inside take on it. And the fact of the matter is, one thing I don't do is ever emasculate a man. Um, I have this huge respect for men growing up being the only girl. I have a huge respect for men. I've never been one of those bitter women, who look at all men are the same or feel like men are some because I all my brothers are these beautiful gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? And I've always known like men have feelings too because I've talked to them, I've had in-depth conversations, we've talked about the things that they go through, you know what I'm saying? And so I get to see that other side that a lot of people just dismiss, you know what I'm saying? And the feeling of, or the fact of the matter is like men are always put in a position to have to be the strong ones, and because of that, being the leader, people feel as if they don't have a voice because, well, societally you're told that you're supposed to be the provider, you have to be the one working, you have to be the one doing all these things as a man, so you can't slow down enough to feel anything. And that's wrong because men go through things too, and I know this, having brothers, I know this, that men go through things too, so I definitely have a huge respect for men and their feelings, and know that a man is not just a provider, a man also has things they go through. If you are just pulling up, though, that is okay. We have so much more to come. This is the Red Room Talk. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. We just discussed the hardest part about being a man, and I want to kind of discuss the differences between men and women. But mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stress of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Mental health is more than an absence of mental disorders or disabilities, but peak mental health is about not only avoiding active conditions, but also looking after ongoing wellness and happiness. Preserving and restoring mental health is crucial on an individual basis as well as throughout different communities and societies. Um, but what I want to know, because there is a huge difference between men and women, but women are often left with questions of why won't my man talk to me? Why won't, uh, why don't do men always act like they have no feelings? But what I want to know is what should women know when it comes to communicating with men, and why do you think it is harder for men to express themselves? So first, what should women know when it comes to communicating with men?
Well, I'll start this now. You gotta be patient. And I say that honestly because growing up, men are taught different. We taught to provide us. We taught that we're gonna have to run. I mean, be the head of the household one day. We taught we're gonna have to provide and all the other stuff. And growing up, we learned to push our emotions and stuff to the side. But other than being patient, I would like to say that if I do talk to you and do open up to you, and you throw it back in my face in a later argument or a later conversation, it's gonna not make me want to talk to you. So I say that's one of the most important things. Like if I do get to the point and I start to open up to you, and then it's get thrown back in my face, it's gonna really make me shut down and really, push back the communication piece.
Yeah, I would definitely the way I would put it, what a woman should know when communicating with a man is timing and tone. For me, I've been I don't have a problem being corrected. You know what I'm saying? A woman telling me like, hey, consider this, like maybe what you're doing may not be right. I mean, I as my partner, I would expect her to kind of let me know, okay, hey, let's do this. Is maybe a better way of doing something, right? Or if there's an issue that needs to be addressed, I want to know about that. Don't let that stuff bottle up. I like to try to over communicate with my partner, but timing and tone. If she gets one of those wrong, God forbid she gets both of those wrong, you're gonna miss me every time. So I always say, don't bring a problem to me when I wake up, roll over 6 in the morning. I ain't even got time to put my feet on the floor, and you bringing the issues of life to my front door, or when we are talking, you're emotionally all over the place and you're yelling and your verbals, your non-verbals are all thrown off. Like come to me when you're better, what I'm saying? So I can actually hear you and we can come to an understanding. So timing and tone is what I think women need to take away when communicating with a man.
And what was the question again? The direct question on Jen, just to make sure I got it right before I speak on it.
What should women know when it comes to communicating with men, and why do you think it's harder for men to express themselves?
Um, I mean, it's kind of like the same with Baldy kind of spoke about at the top. It's just Hey man, I like the fact of being patient. That's one of the things. Um, and then to listen, as a man, we're an alpha male, right? Our ego is built by like our own strength. You know what I mean? So if you take away a man's ego, you kind of like demasculize him. You know what I mean? At that point, so um, you got to actually be able to have him in a place where he can be vulnerable. That's a vulnerable state for a man to open up. You know what I mean? So and once he does, I think this is one of the biggest that I would want women to know, and I always speak about it all the time. Hey, listen, if I confide in you on a vulnerable situation, that means I trust you. That's almost like saying I trust you with my life. Do me a favor, like when you get pissed or when you get mad, don't bring that back. Don't throw that back at me. You hear me? Or when you get pissed at me, don't and we kind of like separate. Don't throw all of my skeletons and throw them out to the streets and to try to expose or to you know what I mean to discredit my character, who I am, because then at that point, that's what make a lot of men don't ever want to open up about a lot of stuff, because that's what happens. You know what I mean? People get pissed, they break apart, and it's like everything you've ever said, all of those moments, all those years, and when you did trust that person, they take all of that and they just throw it out to social media, or they, throw it out to, the public in general. And I feel like that's the one thing I would say is that, gain a man's trust. You know what I mean? And then and be solid. Like if that's a secret, let it be a secret. It used to be a time women took, the secrets to the grave, and that's what it was. Like you literally took it to the casket for real. Nowadays you see nowadays, even I'm gonna take it to a tag standpoint, because I know a lot of us see a lot of that. People will take all of that and throw it out to just hurt, because hurt people, right? And
Right.
they'll take all of the stuff that you said and all the things you confided in them in, and you believed in, and you loved them for real. And they just throw it out to the tag streets, to your Instagrams, and just to be able to hurt you. And the craziest thing is, once you do that, I don't know why people be like, I forgive you, but you can apologize a million times and then you can forgive somebody, but you do know you can't take that back out of people's minds, what you did. And I see that a lot. So I would just say, man, be sure that a man can trust you. You know what I'm saying? Be trustworthy. You know what I mean? Be solid, like for real.
Consistent.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
agree with all my fellas, man. Everybody, each and every one of them was right. I mean, there's really nothing much more to say. I mean, we need you to be patient with us. When we're ready to talk, we'll talk. We need you to know when it's the right time to talk. Like, because if I just lost my job, I don't need you nagging in my ear about I ain't take out the trash. I know this is a PG show, but F that trash. You know what I'm saying? Don't throw nothing back in my face. I don't know why women love doing that. As soon as y'all get angry, well, you the one that told me such and such, such and such. Like I told you in confidence, so that's between us. It's not for me, you, everybody on Instagram or tag to know. You know what I'm saying? And because it takes a lot for a man to open up to the point where he's sharing something with you that he feels like it should be between you and them. So when you bring it up and throw it back in our face, like all these men up here said, we gonna shut down. It's gonna be hard for us to open back up, and then you're gonna be mad because you're gonna be hearing stuff from other people that you should have known, but because I can't open up to you, you don't know that. You might have heard some on my live that I should have brought to you, but I didn't, because the last time I brought it to you, you threw it back in my face. You made me feel a certain way about it. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
And I like to circle back on something he said before you move on to the next one.
Sure.
So I don't think the issue is that men don't want to talk. I don't think that's the problem. I think we are human too. We want to have somebody that we can rely on, open up, and let them know, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Even though I'm a man, that don't mean, I don't feel, I don't hurt, I don't love. Like those things are real. But, as everyone that was saying on the panel, like I think a lot of times, that has been violated somewhere. Somebody, at some point in time has taken that, weaponized it, and then now we struggle with being honest and transparent. And when we do allow that side of us to show, it's been mismanaged. So I think, women, as they listen to what we're saying, they really have to take that responsibility and be like, yo, like if he's brave enough to open up to me, I got to really handle this with wisdom. I got to manage this responsibility. Like that's not a light thing to take on. So
Right.
For sure. So what I kind of caught on to is like loyalty is huge. Like, cause I know even though this is about men, but for myself, to open up, it takes loyalty to consistently. Um, you got to give a little to get a little. If you want someone to openly communicate with you, you have to give them a reason to trust you. And the fact of the matter is, I see a lot of women, even on this site, talking to men, and they out them publicly, emasculate them. That's why I take pride in I never try to emasculate a man. Not saying I'm perfect and that I've never made a mistake, but I definitely know that's the quickest way to shut a man down is to embarrass him publicly. I don't care if he did something wrong. You keep that for after when you're home in the privacy of y'all's home. Keep that at home. Nobody needs to know if your home is not happy. Okay, you keep that at home. I've seen women bash men on Facebook talking about, oh, he did this, and then the next day, oh, babe made dinner. What? You were just talking about how he did this and he ate this and he did what? So women really need to take a step back and really stop. Everybody don't need to know everything, because really in the all actuality, when I see those things and other people see those things, you're really the one kind of looking like a fool, because now you're telling people what that man did, and then you're doing it in front of your family. So when you try to bring this man back to your family outing, they look at him like, oh, well, you did this or that or this, instead of, you know what I mean, really knowing the man for the man, because he might have only done that because of something you did to him or you embarrassing him. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really, have some wit about you and be grown about it when you have to communicate with the man. You have to really keep that kind of in your own home, you know what I mean, and not let the world know when he makes a mistake, because everybody makes mistakes and we all have a chapter we don't want to read out loud. um But if you are just pulling up, that's okay. You can find us here every Saturday on the Red Room Talk. You haven't missed it all. We just discussed the hardest part about being a man, and the differences between men and women. But now I want to talk a little more on mental health, on the specifics. In the United States, the National Alliance on Mental Illness estimates that almost 1 in 5 adults experience mental health problems each year. In 2017, an estimated of 11.2 million adults in the U.S., or about 4.5% of adults, had a severe psychological condition, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. During the pandemic, I am most of you, I'm sure, personally felt seen a rise in mental health issues. But even men who kind of went through the losing of jobs, and especially as men who are supposed to be providers, I'm sure that's took a toll, especially as a man. Um, but what I want to know is, like, in your home, was mental health something that was discussed in your home growing up, or was it open on discussing the subject? Was this something that was brought to the table, or was it more hush hush and you just kind of lived with knowing?
It's more hush hush in my home coming up as a kid. Like it wasn't really talked about. Like I said, which is bad, but it was a form of weakness in my household. Nobody wanted to hear your problems because they had their own problems. So just shut up, do what you got to do, wash the dishes, and go to bed. It wasn't none of that. Oh, I feel this way, I feel that way. Nah, feelings was not big in my household coming up as a kid.
I mean, I grew up in a spiritual household, so your mindset, your contents, your thoughts, all that was taught like day to day. Because what you think controls you. If you can learn to control your anger, you can learn to control your success. So I grew up in a spiritual household, so look, not religious, by the way, but spiritual. So um, it wasn't talked about in a like it wasn't talked about in a mental like a mental way. It was more of in a spiritual way, just balancing yourself out spiritually, because mental illness is all tied to your spirituality. I see, I've been seeing quite a few celebrities cut their hair. You know what I'm saying? But in actuality, it's not the fact of cutting the hair; it's the fact of covering the hair. That's why in our cultures they all cover their head. You know what I mean? Because your hair is like, it's like tentacles. what you walk by, things you touch, energy, hugs, all that stuff is attracted to the edges and tips of your hair. So, but that's just our belief system. You know what I'm saying? So it was never like more of a mental illness. It was more like, hey, you need to spiritually kind of like balance yourself out, and that'll balance your mental state. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, then it's like your mind will always run wild. I think one of the biggest thing that kind of corrupts a lot of people is just TV and news and stuff that they see. Their brain starts kind of thinking in that way. It's like if all you watch is horror movies, you're gonna be looking down the hall thinking something running up and down the hall, but the whole time it's just your way your mind think because that's all you watch. It's all you feed yourself. It's all you feed yourself mentally. So it was never more mental, it was more spiritual in my end.
Yeah. I would say, it's kind of taught, I think, at least for boys, right? I think it's kind of embedded in us as children. If I fall off my back, scrape my knee, I'm told to get up. Boys don't cry. Dust your feet off, dust off, get back on there. Same token, if my sister was to fall off her back, she's gonna get picked up, kissed, get a lollipop, go get ice cream, she's gonna get hugs and kisses. So I think, as we grow up, we're taught like boys are supposed to be tough. We're supposed to be strong, and you move into that. And I was raised spiritually as well. So there's a lot of scriptures I can run to, and I can recite, I can quote, I can pray. But I think spiritually and naturally, there's work to be done. So what I've learned now is, yeah, I have a very strong faith. My belief system is very strong, but there's some natural things I have to do as well, which is talk these things out, communicate it. Why am I thinking like I'm thinking? Are there any patterns? Are there any habits I need to break? And I really got some work I have to do naturally, and then obviously mix that with the spiritual realm too. But it all goes physical, spiritual, emotional, um, social. All that stuff ties into mental health. And if you don't have a fine balance and all of that stuff, you're gonna find yourself off track. So
I can agree with everything that everybody said, but I'm gonna kind of go with what Jill is saying. It was kind of hush hush in my house, whole growing up. I think until we got older, we got to the point where you look at them and know when somebody is kind of off, and then ask how they're doing. But growing up, it was never really like that. So growing up, it was really hush hush around my family. So that kind of carried into my adult years, and so I'm still trying to work on. But
Feel you on that. Yeah, man. When I got older, that's when we was allowed to talk about feelings and stuff like that. But as a kid, definitely was a no no.
That go to bed. You just gotta. You just just kind of brush it off. But in my household, um, we had like the table, the round table is what I call it, because like at dinner we had all TVs off, no music, none of that. But we just hadn't had talks and talked about our days and what we had going on. Um, but it wasn't always like you were able to just to talk about what you want to talk about. My daddy was a military man. He was very he was in touch with his emotions, but uh if you were any type of emotion, it was kind of like, oh, you're just this, go to your room, go to bed, as a man. And me being the only girl, I mean, he was a little softer with me, but he also was hard too, because he didn't want me to be a weak woman. He wanted me to have that strength. um but he definitely coddled me just a little bit more than the boys, so that should kind of tell you too. Even as him being a father, he definitely was harder on the boys. They couldn't have a bad day. He'd yell and carry on about them. But I kind of got to slip through the cracks, thankfully, for the most part. But that definitely, I'm sure played a difference. My brothers even talk about that now. Like, he was harder on us. You didn't have to deal with a lot of the stuff that, we had to deal with. And I agree, because I would hide out. If he was yelling and carrying on, I knew better to shut up and just go to my room, but y'all wanted to argue. I didn't, okay. I stay in a female place and just go sit my butt in my room and keep to myself. But I definitely know that it's hard for y'all, and I see it, especially growing up with all my brothers. It's just a difference. Um, but if you are just pulling up, this is the Red Room Talk. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's not over. We still have so much more to come. We just discussed what is the hardest part about being a man. We discussed what's the the differences between a man and woman in America and how they differ when it comes to expressing themselves. Um, but now we're going to switch gears and talk about communication because communication openness, I believe, is the key to mental health, especially surrounding the stigma on men's mental health. But good mental health um, depends on a delicate balance of factors and several elements of life that the world at large can work together to contribute to mental health. A person coping with mental health difficulties will usually need to make changes to the lifestyle to facilitate wellness. Such as changes might include reducing alcohol intake, sleeping more, and eating a balanced and nutritious diet. People need to take time away from work to resolve issues with personal relationships that may be causing damage to their mental health. But I do really think it kind of comes down to communication. Especially that is the hardest thing for a man to do is communicate his feelings, especially if he's not feeling comfortable. But what I want to know is who do you go to when you need to vent, and what makes it easier what to vent to that person as a man to communicate your feelings? Who do you go to?
What you mean, like relationship wise, household?
Like as far as like, do you have that one person like? You know, some people have their father, or they have like that one token person, you know, that they feel that comfort with because they allow them that safe space.
Well, I mean, I think that's the biggest source that though for the whole entire for the actual subject that we're speaking on. I think that just my opinion, um, the whole mental health itself is a lot of it's derived from the household and how your household is built. Two-parent household versus a one or versus a grandmama's, it can man that build a lot of men differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm built differently because I had my dad. Like I had a dad. You know what I'm saying? Only my dad wasn't perfect, but I had a dad. You know what I'm saying? I had a father. I seen him every day. You know what I mean? But you know, him versus mom was two totally different people. My mom was my partner. When I got my first gun, it was my mom who taught me how to load. It was my mom was more like how my dad would have, could have been with me. My dad was like he was like how they're speaking on like on that side. The spiritual side, I always was close with my mom because it was like I could talk to her about anything. You know what I mean? Like anything. Like even when I was doing the wildest stuff, that's my partner. You know what I mean? Like everything. Like even when I was going to school, when I used to carry a gun and stuff to school. That's who I used to have to talk to about it. When I talked to him, it was more like, oh here, you know what I'm saying? He was a working man, you know what I mean? He ain't caring about none of that. But I would say like, you know, I mean, I have friends that I confide in, but man, when I say like I've been knowing them and I know I've been knowing them, and I've seen them go through some stuff, and they just and I try to be loyal to you first, so that way you have no excuse not to be loyal to me enough for me to be able to confide in you. So I try to put out what I need back. You know what I'm saying? So my people would be like, I got dude wise, I don't really have no guy that I really confide in at this moment like that. I don't have no dude like it's one dude that my partner always. Um, and then I got like two or three female friends that like they just know everything going on. That's it though. But it's hard to confide in another guy. Man, that's like arming the enemy. You know what I'm saying? That's like putting all the bullets in his gun for him, and then you mess around and cock it for him. So yeah. So for me, it would be like a couple female friends that definitely more do.
For sure.
Mm. For me, the question was, who I go to vent, I guess talk about issues. Um, I can agree with ATL, but with me, I guess on the other hand, I do have about three dudes that I can go to. We went through life together. We've seen each other at our worst. No judgment. We can. It ain't nothing we can't talk about. And that I think that's very rare. So I feel fortunate and blessed to have three guys. That I know I can call at midnight. Like, bro, I need this, or I just need your ear, or let me know if I'm jacked up. Am I missing something? Um, just a sounding board, an azimuth. Like, all right, man, am I going left field? Like, let me know. But I got three of them, and they can trust me, with it. I'm gonna give them the honest truth. whether they want to hear it or not. And they know that when they call me, that's what they're going to get. No judgment, no condemnation, but just pure truth and love, man. And you jacked up, I'm gonna call you out, and we hold each other accountable. And we give each other that access. We allow each other to hold each other accountable. Um, but I guess growing up, I had a lot of, I guess I had coaches, I had mentors. My father passed away when I was younger, so I didn't really have a relationship with him. But there was men that stepped in the gap. I had preachers. I had father figures that was able to teach me the things I needed to know as a young man. Um, and I was able to avoid some of those pitfalls until I was wise enough to kind of make a better decision on my own. So, but with females, I got a handful of females that I can call, because sometimes in my relationship, I need a female's perspective, not a chick that's trying to steer me wrong to get me in her arms, but she's just like, bro, I feel you. What I see what you're saying. She should have came off that way. However, look at what you said and look at when you did this. Like, this is what a female feels when you say and do this. And that's helped me too. That's kind of humbled me and helped me apologize quicker. Forgive faster. And it shortens that curve of correction, so to say. So I don't know. I feel pretty fortunate when it comes down to who I can reach out to, who I can actually trust. But I've also learned there's a big difference between being transparent with people and being honest with them. So I think everybody deserves honesty, but you can't be transparent with everybody. That will
That's
come
true.
back to bite you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for me, I really stick to, the people who's closest to me, like my brother, my sister, my mom. Those are people I usually talk to the most, and also, of course, my stepdad. I have a very few select friends that I will call, if I feel like I really just need to talk, you know. But I think it do, communication is a big part, but then sometimes as men, we can be very stubborn. We need to know how to find a problem within us sometimes ourselves and realize the problem before we can, just talk on it. I just put that in there.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, for me, coming up as a kid, I was an athlete, so it was more so like my coaches and stuff like that. 'Cause I was raised by my grandmother, so it was more of my coaches, more so my grandmother until she passed away. But when I got into adulthood, like 21, 22 and up, it actually ended up being my little brother, because he's seen a lot of the stuff that I go through, a lot of the struggle, a lot of the pain. He learned a lot of what not to do because of Big Bro always messing up. I was the example of what not to do and how to mess things up. But yeah, my little brother, he's always there for me when I need him. I can call him. I ain't got to worry about him getting mad, throwing it back in my face. So I definitely got to say my little brother would be the person I would go to and vent to when need be.
For sure. Um, I know, like my brothers always came to me. I was always that person that, because I never judged them. I never, turned them away if they were feeling some type of way. Whereas, like I said, my dad was more hard on them. My mom, she was the working person. So I was always like their best friend. I'm saying, if they had a problem or they had an issue, even I probably protected them more than they protected me. Uh, I probably protected them more than they protected me. But yeah, you should always try to be like that safe space. And when you have that loyalty to people, a lot of people don't even have loyalty to themselves. But when you're loyal to other people, they kind of they come to you. You know what I mean? They can see that you're that kind of person that you could trust. So when you make sure that you're consistent with people and you show them that loyalty, that don't stray away from that, it makes it easier for people to come to you. So make sure you keep that consistency, that you are that safe space, and that you don't ever, you know, out someone, publicly, because that is the sure way to get someone to never talk to you again. Um, but if you are just pulling up, you're definitely late. But we're at my favorite, one of my favorite parts of the night. If you're We just discussed the hardest part about being a man, the differences between men and women in America, the difference between a man and a woman expressing themselves, mental health and communication. Now I want to discuss what we can do to erase the stigma surrounding men's mental health. It's scary to share anything, let alone something that feels so personal. But you'd be surprised to find out how many people you know have also dealt with or are dealing with depression, anxiety, voices, or thought problems. If they haven't themselves, most people have family members or friends who have. While not everyone will understand, many people do. No matter what path you choose, it's important to reach out to others to get help. The inside voice that happens with mental illness often convinces you that other people won't or don't want to hear your struggle or you won't be able to get help, learn how to talk about mental health or how to get help for yourself or someone you care about. After tonight, I hope that you all make an effort to allow the men in your life to communicate easier. But what do you think about what we discussed tonight and what actions as a community, because this is a community problem. This is society. Society has made it so men have a harder time to communicate. It's kind of a family problem. This has started at home. So what do you think about what we discussed tonight and what actions as a community or what steps do you think should be taken to erase the stigma surrounding men's mental health?
I mean, I would definitely say you have to get the celebrities involved, the music industry involved. Uh, you have to make it a national thing. You have to make it a thing, just like they make other communities. I don't like to say the letters because I always screw them up. You know what I'm saying? But the LGBTQ,
Yeah, I know
they
what you mean.
add
I
two
know
more
what you
letters
mean.
to it. No disrespect. So I know they added like five more, like two more letters to it. So I forgot. But anyway, like that community, like they make an awareness. Like they literally make it where you gotta, you know what I'm saying, be aware that there's something to society. Well, you gotta do the same thing if you want men to have that type of because awareness be brought to men's mental health. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a thing that's all over social media. It's got to be a thing that celebrities talk about. It's got to be a thing, and it has to be a viral thing that's just everybody's agrees to. Because if it's not viral, it doesn't matter. They talk about monkeypox. We wouldn't know nothing about no monkeypox if it wasn't a viral thing. Nobody wouldn't be thinking about that, things that are viral, that go on the internet, go on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all that good stuff, is just start saying it more. Like men's mental health matter. If you started that movement, it would start mattering. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Men matter. Men's mental health matter, and that'd be a hashtag that would literally start bringing attention. And then you have to start having programs. The problem is that a man can do 15 years in the military and come home to zero, to zilch, to no assistance, and have to go through 2 and 3 years to fight to get assistance, but they didn't have to go through 2 or 3 years to fight for the country. That's the first thing. So you got to kind of fix them, because that's one of the biggest things, is that people who are on the front line in different professions, they don't even get the mental health help that they need. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different angles to go to when it comes to a man, because jobs got to have it on there. Business has got to provide it. It's got to be a thing. Like, and I mean, when I say that's a lot of work, I'm gonna show you another one. What's the last one with the Roe thing, where women couldn't get the Roe versus something?
Oh, Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, Roe versus Wade. You see how that became a thing, and everybody pushed that thing. That's how that would have to be. They have to push it, and there have to be systems and people come up with just different angles of it. You know, but schools would need it, jobs would need it. I mean, and I mean, with all the money that's in the world, I mean, even if there's, um, I know one thing. I think it was everything. You said it, bro. You said you had coaches and stuff that
Yeah,
you. Okay, so when I was growing up, Boys and Girls Club was like that. Was that?
that was
Listen,
life.
that was
That was
life.
life.
That
That
was
was life.
dad, mom, before dad and mom even got out of work. And you stayed there to 6 and 7. Boys and Girls Club taught me how to play basketball, football, swing. You learned
Right.
everything. And that was a center. Those centers no longer exist. Bring them back. That would be a thing for the community. So just different angles to it. That's all, just different angles. You got to go by all the way around the board with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I like to come in. I don't think it, just necessarily need to be celebrities and stuff. I think it got to start with men and a group of women to back it. Because if we want something to change, we got to be a part of that change. So a group of men get together and start talking about men mental health, start making them hashtags, and of course, everybody, well, not everybody, but people piggyback off of it, and then it spread. That's how you get it to go viral. You know, Celebrities do stuff, but a lot of people pay attention to celebrities based off why they are celebrities. They don't get involved in every movement and stuff that happens. So it starts with us, not everybody.
True.
That'd be my opinion on it.
What's
Yeah,
up?
I think that it's been an issue. I think nationally we know that mental health has been a problem, specifically with men. I know even when you speak about those that serve, we have all kind of things that we talk about. Certain times of the year, suicides increase, and we have things that observe that. But I think that's kind of cliche. Like that's kind of just wave talk. I think when we look at how do we get out of it, we don't advertise the resources enough. Like people don't actually know where to go, what facilities are providing it, and how do I gain access. Personally, because I share with everybody that I know. Like I go, I have therapy sometimes twice a month, and you look at it like we go to financial counselors when we got pay issues. We go to the mechanic to get our vehicles fixed when that break down. We go life coaches when we try to figure out how to attain goals and milestones. But the machine up here we don't put maintenance on that. We don't go and we don't get that updated. We don't get the oil checks on our brains and figure out why are we thinking the way we're thinking, and how to get off of that spiral of catastrophic thinking. So the way I look at it is, um, in order to normalize that, like men have to be real and say, yo, like what I'm thinking right now is not conducive. Like I've been feeling this way for a minute and I need to go talk to somebody. And like I think Baldy said as well, is their sisters, their mothers, their fiancés, wives, their aunties, all these women that are around these men have to say, like, yeah, like he needs to go talk to somebody and I'm gonna support you. Non-judgmental. If you need somebody to help fund it, whatever it is, I want you to be a better version of yourself, as a representative for other men, but also just to, be a better version of yourself so everybody else around you gets that better version of you. And I think that we don't normalize it enough. We don't talk about it enough. We don't know the resources are, and we're not encouraged enough to go. A lot of times we're told to just, soldier up or pray about it, make it spiritual. No, there's some natural things that has to be done. Like sometimes praying is good, meditating is good, but sometimes you need to go talk to somebody that has experience in that area and they can help you get those thoughts out, whether it's by pen, by voice, or whatever. But I don't think it's normalized for those reasons. So I think getting out of it would be, um, it's going to take, like you said, men and women, and it's going to take influencers. I can see ATL on that point too. It's going to take those that have influence over the youth or the next generation to be like, yo, I talked to a counselor, I talked to a therapist. It ain't weird. It's like it's cool.
I agree with the whole panel. I think celebrities would make it a lot easier, but I definitely strongly agree with Baldy. Like, it starts with the everyday average 9 to 5 working man. So if we need to learn to put our egos to the side and come together, which is a problem in the community in a whole. A lot of people don't want to come together. They don't want to work together. But when it comes to a lot of issues, not even just men's mental health, we need to learn to put our differences aside and put our egos to the side and realize that as one, we can make a very powerful blow. As individuals, yeah, we can go off over here and go viral on this one, and we can go viral on that one. But if we all come together, we can go viral everywhere. Everybody can know. It can be a powerful movement. But that's just one thing that us as a people got to learn to do, to put our egos to the side and come together. For movements such as men's mental health. It is not just that. Just anything in life. A lot of people need to learn to put them egos to the side.
For sure. Movements like the Me Too movement, not just women, but people who are assaulted started this movement, and it took like wildfire. But it takes nights like tonight, shows like tonight. It takes one person to start a wave. You throw a rock in the water and it ripples. You know what I'm saying? So tonight's like tonight, are really special to me because I know that just one discussion can lead to more. So I hope that all of you who are in the comments can take these discussions to your live and make it bigger than tonight. Um, but it definitely only takes one stone casted to cause a wave. So if you are just pulling up, you're definitely late. We are at my favorite part of the night. This is the Red Room Talk. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just discussed the hardest part about being a man, the differences between a men and women in America, the difference between a way a man and a woman express themselves on mental health, and what makes it easier for a man to communicate. I went to Instagram to ask our peers what they wanted to ask for this week's hot seat question. If you want your question to be featured on next week's episode, make sure that you go to my profile, click that icon, and follow me on Instagram, and look out for that Ask Jen Host hot seat question post. This week, Jariah wrote in and he asked, why do we downplay men's mental health versus women as if we don't deserve it? I think a lot of that is not that we downplay. I feel like it's just a societal thing. I feel like because it's so prevalent for men to be hush hush because they're known as the strong. They're the head of the military. They're the head of the workforce. You do all the hard working labor, and I feel like people look at men as the strength, and so often they get overlooked. And I don't think it's really a men versus women thing. I think it's a men versus society thing. Social media often skews people's visions of people. They make things look better than they appear, and a lot of things get hush hush. And even let's look back into even when we were younger, a lot of things were like real hush hush. You didn't talk about things. Things were, oh, we don't talk about that, dear, and just kind of brushed off. So I don't feel like it's that we downplay men's mental health versus women. I think we just don't talk about it enough because it's so stigmatized. And when you start having those talks and start having those discussions, it becomes a little bit easier. So nights like tonight, like I said, take these to your live or take these to your home and start talking about it a little more. But if you are just pulling up, it's almost over. Tonight's topic was men's mental health, the inside look on the stigma surrounding men's mental health. You're definitely late, but don't fret. You can find us every week on YouTube, which you can find posted in my Instagram bio by clicking my profile. And every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. While men's mental health is often overlooked, the issue looms largely. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, men are almost 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women. After tonight, I hope you all make an effort to allow the men in your life to feel comfortable enough to open up and have a safe space to talk. If you yourself need help or someone to talk to, my inbox is always open, and I can point you in the right direction. And you can always contact the National Suicide Hotline 24 hours a day at 1-800-273-TALK. Someone put that in the comments, please. 1-800-273-TALK. I also took the liberty at putting on my Instagram. I listed all the numbers for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is 1-800-273-TALK. The text number for the National Alliance on Mental Health, the Veterans Crisis Hotline, and also the LGBTQ plus Suicide Prevention Hotline. So I can cover all bases. So anybody who needs anybody has somewhere to go. I hope that you all take heed to tonight and make sure that you make the men in your life comfortable, and start talking about this more so we can make this a bigger thing than just tonight. The Red Room Talk was just a small stone to cast the wave, and you all are the rest of the wave. So I would like to wrap up the show with this quote. Every week we come to this place of healing. So some say, be strong, man up. I say it takes a strong man to speak the feeling and act with passion in a world too often cold. That is strength. Thank you all for coming to the Red Room Talk. I've loved tonight's discussion, and I thank you all for being comfortable enough to come here and open up and speak on men's mental health. And I hope you all cast your stones and make waves too. So I'm gonna let you all reintroduce yourselves to close out. Let us know about any shows you got going on, any events, and then we can wrap it up with a song.
Me?
Go ahead. Yep.
I thought we were doing ball. Remember, we had started last time, so I'm gonna go back with the rotation. I didn't let y'all
I just say we got three balls
My
in here.
bad. So look,
Okay.
hey man, on ATL Live, man. Listen, man, I'm always great vibes. I'm always high frequency, man. You know, I tell everybody every day, come on, tag and get your laugh, get your smile. If you ain't getting that, then you need to log off, go to another live stream. You did. Tomorrow gonna be Club ATL, man. Bottle Girl Auction, man. If you missed it last week, one of the biggest shows on Tag again, man. I love y'all. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the good contestants and stuff like that. We'll probably have about, I think it's like 12 bottle girls, 12, 15 bottle girls. I gotta confirm the other few, whatever. But it's gonna be turned up. You know, you better come through there, buy a bottle girl. 3 days and all that good stuff. If you ever want to see it, you can go on my YouTube page, which is ATL Live Tag. Check it out, man. It's good content. Tina G, appreciate you, love. Kisses all on your forehead. Appreciate you having me on the show, man. G-Way, no way.
Nope.
I see you, brother.
All right. I'll go ahead and do it. Get up out of here. Shout out to everybody in the room. Salute to the room, everybody. Mr. Everything here. Stream throughout the week. Sometimes I'm kind of random. But I'm usually on sometimes, usually Monday through Friday, sometime between 4 and 8. You catch me in that window. Or you may catch me in somebody else's box, hanging out, catching a vibe. No major shows coming up right now. Hey, it's been a great conversation tonight. I've enjoyed the dialogue with the other fine gentlemen on this panel. And as always, it's always a blessing to be able to hang out with Jen for a whole hour on a Saturday. Saturday.
Saturday.
I almost got kicked out of here for saying it wrong. But, but yeah, you know, dope conversation, very relevant, and you know, it's definitely something that needs to be talked about more often. So the pleasure's all mine. Anytime you want to let me hang out in your living room again, just hit me up.
Sure.
Salute to everybody. Y'all be easy.
Salute.
All right. Well, of course, body in the building, but I don't really have I don't really have my own show or anything yet. I'm just a regular screamer and a gifter. You know, I do stream and try to keep my life as clean as possible. You know, people do stop by and vibe with me on a daily, and I appreciate everyone who does that. But if y'all want to go catch a good vibe, usually in the mornings, during the work week, I scream in the mornings, and on the weekend, I'm usually up all night. And thank you again, Jen, for inviting me back to your show. You already know I'll be here anyway. But thank y'all, and body out the building.
Any of y'all who are in the comments, hit that plus sign if you want to discuss a little bit more. But G-Way, the co-host, what you got to say for me?
You already know I'm your co-host, G-Way. No wait, I'm here every Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all know where y'all can catch me. I'm normally on live between 9 p.m. and midnight. I'm on Getting Lit. I got my own shows. The best thing for you to do is hit the name. Go to the Instagram. I'm posting something like every day because I got something going on like every day. Make sure everybody faves everybody. And at the end of the day, man, like we was talking about, if y'all want to go back to y'all live and discuss it, I appreciate it. I knew he was going to do that. I knew he was going to do that. I knew it. I knew it. I was just about to say it. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say this is the first episode that I didn't see Baldy number one, but he took the words right out of my mouth. So I'm just gonna
we
shut the
almost
hell
did
up.
15 million, y'all.
I'm just gonna shut it up because I was just about to say that, Baldy. I was like, this is the first time that I've done this show since I've been a co-host that I ain't seen Baldy number one.
Hey, level up then, y'all.
Congrats on the level up. Welcome to they had the color change. Welcome to the team.
Hey.
Welcome to the team. Got the color change level up. Ain't nothing like that. Nothing like the color change.
Firstly, I want to express my gratitude to all the men who came tonight to openly discuss a very stigmatized subject. Yeah, as y'all know, I have a very high regard for men, and thank you very much. I have a very high regard for men, and that's why I talk about these subjects, whether they're hard or not. I talk about the things that are hard for people to talk about because it means a lot to me. I grew up with 3 brothers. I grew up with a military father who dealt with mental illness. So these subjects are very near and dear to me. So I want to keep talking about these subjects that are hard to talk about. If y'all have any subjects you'd like me to talk about, please hit my inbox, hit me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, and definitely follow me on YouTube. If you missed the part of tonight's show, go ahead and follow us on YouTube, and you can catch some other shows. We've talked about mental health before. We've also talked about men's mental health, but we're going to keep talking about these subjects to make them, bigger. It takes one person to make a wave. So be part of the change, y'all. But I'm your host, Jen and Juice. You can find me every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This has been the Red Room Talk, y'all.
Quantum Sounds Production. What up, Sam?